Good morning. I am on here a couple minutes later than what I'd planned on. Just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes and let people get the opportunity to join if they want to, and get my other stuff here set up. If you can hear a child in the background, I have a 2-year-old who is loud. My husband is trying to keep her distracted, so let me shut off my notifications. Got my coffee. I'm ready to go. Hope you guys are too. Okay. So it's 9 o'clock on the dot. We'll let people get on. Just making sure I didn't have anyone send any last minute questions. I got a couple, so I'm excited for that. Okay, so it is 9 o'clock, and I like to start things on time as promised. I do have notes over here to the side because I didn't want to be just like going too crazy and off track. So what I'll do is just kind of start with an introduction and why I'm doing this, and hopefully I can't see. Like I see someone's watching, but I can't see who it is. So whoever's watching, thank you. You can also go ahead and write questions in the comments, and I will answer those throughout the event here or just at the end. So hopefully if your question doesn't get addressed in here, you'll have an opportunity to still get that question answered. And if you can't stay for the whole thing, I am going to repost this later here on my Facebook. It'll be on my Instagram, and I also do have YouTube, so it'll be on there. So first, we'll start off with who I am. A lot of you already know me, but my name's Christine Bartel, and I live in Aberdeen, North Carolina. We are probably about 35 minutes, 40 minutes from Fort Bragg. So pretty heavy military community. I have been married for, it was 4 years in December on New Year's Eve to my husband, Joe. And he is actually medically retired from the Army. He was injured in 2007, and so he is retired now. And we kind of have reverse roles. I work, and he gets to be stay-at-home dad, which I think is awesome because how many dads get to have that opportunity. And he's actually thinking about going back to school, so we're praying about that. When I met my husband, well, before I met my husband, I said I was never going to marry anyone with kids. And I met my husband, and he had 3 kids full time. So I am part of a blended family also, which is another interesting at times dynamic to our life. But I've been in my kids' lives now for 6 years, and it's awesome. So I've got Barrett, who is 14. He'll be 15 in April and about to start driver's ed. And we've got Aaron, who is 13, and he will be in high school next year with Barrett. And then Michaela is 9, and she'll be 10 in May. And she's already acting like a 18-year-old. So, and then Joe and I actually had a daughter in October of 2017, Adeline Grace. She is super cute, but she is a 2-year-old. And not that she's got like the terrible twos, but she's terrible sometimes. Like right now, I just heard something crash in the living room, and who knows what that was. But along with everything else I'm doing, I work part-time at my church, and I'll kind of get into that journey in just a moment. But I work about 25 hours a week in our groups department. So I love helping people get connected and build community. And so being in the groups department is just awesome because a lot of times people are searching for a group and they don't know where to go. And so this is a great way to like connect them, but also helping people kind of step outside of their comfort zone and lead a group. So it's a really, really great position, and I love it. And I'm excited to see how I get to use my coaching training in that. I'm also pursuing a bachelor's degree in Christian counseling, and I should have that by summer, if not summer, fall of 2021. For a while, I really felt like I just had to like cruise through it and get done as fast as I could. And one of the things I had to do is just kind of look at the priorities in my life. And getting a bachelor's degree is very important to me. I've been working on it since I was 18, and I am 36. So off and on, of course, but I definitely want to get that degree, but it doesn't limit what I can do now, and it's not preventing me from excelling in what I'm doing. So it'll only just add to what I'm doing. So, and I go to school at Grace College of Divinity, which is based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. So the big purpose of the event was just to introduce myself. Hopefully I get some people that are watching this video somewhere that have no idea who I am. But maybe even if you do know who I am, it'll be a chance for you to learn a little bit about me. Because if you ask people who knew me 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, and who I am now, I've really discovered who I am. And so I definitely live my life differently. I believe differently. I conduct myself differently. So it's a really kind of a great way for everyone just to get to know Christine again. Also, just kind of like, this is my formal putting it out there. I am officially a professional Christian life coach, and that I'm officially accepting clients. How awesome is that? Let me get a coffee here. And then I just want to be able to share a little bit about what coaching is, because something I have discovered in my interactions with people is they don't really understand what a life coach is. And even in some of my coaching interactions, when people get into a coaching session, they aren't necessarily prepared for what it is. And so I just want to give that opportunity to share about it and answer some questions. And then also kind of talk about what options are going to be available if you would be interested in becoming a client. I will also just put a disclaimer right now that if you are someone who's interested in coaching, but let's say you know me and you're just not comfortable with sharing those things, or you just feel like I'm not the right match for you, like, still reach out to me, because the great thing about the program I went through is I was in a class with 9 or 10 other people, including some men. So I can connect you with people. I can help you find a really great coach, and I would vouch for every single one of them. They were awesome. So let's see here. And then also we're just going to talk a little bit about kind of like my journey to becoming a life coach, because I am pretty sure that when 95% of the people that know me heard me say I was going to become a life coach, they probably were like, what? So I just kind of want to explain how that came about. So let me scroll up here. So let's start with actually like, what is a life coach? Outside of me as a life coach, just what is a life coach in general? So a life coach is someone who works with another person or a couple. So you could do like premarital or marriage coaching, which is something in the next year I would love to be able to do, but we're starting small. But it's a partnership, and the coach really walks alongside that person. And so let's say I had a client, her name was Jane. So Jane would reach out to me and kind of let me know where she's feeling stuck, issues or circumstances that she just feels like she cannot move through. And so as a coach, I would work with her to really just like, there's a model that we follow. So it's kind of like there's steps of what we want our clients to go through. And so we would work on awareness of like fully being aware of what your situation is, how that makes you feel, what you really want to change, what you want to take away. And then we'll start vision casting. So where are you at right now? Where do you want to be in the future? And a lot of this is fueled, all of it is fueled first by the Holy Spirit and then by thought-provoking questions. So when you come into a coaching session, I'm not going to sit there and tell you what you need to do to fix things. What I'm going to do is ask you the right questions to allow for the Holy Spirit to really work on your heart and in your mind, and so that you can become aware of what a good solution is. I think sometimes too, just being aware of how you really actually feel about something and how you want to change that is huge. Because sometimes, we all just get stuck in this cycle of whatever it is, and you just get used to it and you get okay with it, and you're just kind of like stuck in that mess, and it doesn't really bother you. I mean, it does bother you, but you've learned to adapt. So as a coach, I'm going to ask you questions to help you think about that and think about and realize how you currently feel and how you want to feel. Let's see here what I put here. It's really about like moving forward with confidence, setting goals, making a plan. Like, you can make goals, but if you don't make an actual plan, it's not going to happen. And then as a coach, I can help hold you accountable. So I met with a client yesterday. We made a plan. It was awesome. And if you're watching, I'm going to be checking up on you. But I can send this person an email. I can send a text and just say, what did you do today? What did you read? Pertaining to whatever their goal is. So it's really great that some people don't have true accountability in their lives. Unfortunately, some people just don't want to ask the hard questions, and I will. You can even ask my friends when they're having a hard time, what are you going to do about it? Let me see here. So like I said, the whole process is really just asking a lot of questions. As a coach, it's the 80-20 rule. The client is usually talking about 80% of the time. The coach is about 20% of the time. So I'm doing a lot of active listening, picking up on cues. If we are physically seeing each other, body language. So, a lot of those things. Let's see, really going from a place of being stuck to where you want to be. But there is one really big difference between a Christian life coach and a secular life coach. In the secular world, people are focused on them and what they can do for themselves, how they can, it's like all about me. Me. What can I do for me? How can I be better? It's a very like selfish mindset. It can be. As a Christian life coach, I'm going to help you to see what God wants for you, what His plan is for you, who He's created you to be, and to be okay with that, and to really just let Him lead the way. Because honestly, how my life has changed in the last year and a half, I'm not capable of that at all. The only way I was able to do anything is by God. So that's just one big thing about a Christian coach and a secular coach, is it's going to be very based on what God wants. Hey, I can't see who is joining live, so if you want to pop a comment and just say hi, or if you want to ask a question, just feel free to do so in the comments. I'm just going through right now kind of like what a life coach actually is. So a life coach also doesn't really work with helping to resolve past mental illness, past issues. Coaching is really forward focused. So you're here and you want to be here. How do you get there? Not, I'm here, but I've got all this stuff back here. How do I fix all that? Now, this doesn't mean that during the coaching, there won't be an opportunity, if you're having a roadblock or an obstacle, for you to kind of say like, hey, this is something I've dealt with in my past. At that point, as a coach, I would say, okay, let's make a plan to work past it. Or I might say, hey, you might want to think about seeing a counselor because these are some things that are out of my scope and I cannot counsel you. Now, when I get my bachelor's degree in Christian counseling, that'll still look a little different than traditional counseling. I still haven't decided yet if I'll be getting like licensed, so I'm able to like diagnose treatment plans, things like that. Counseling in a Christian aspect is really, I feel like it'll partner with coaching because of the pointing towards God and finding healing through Him. So we'll see where that leads. But I also just wanted to stress that coaching is not counseling, it's not discipleship, and it's not even mentorship. And I know when I tell people that it's not discipleship, some people are like, I don't agree with that. But let me explain why. So counseling deals with what people in that kind of field refer to as a negative psychology. So mental illness, and mental illness is real and it can get pretty deep. And so as a coach, I'm not trained to help someone heal that and work through that. So that's why it's really important to see someone that can. Counseling just helps people move from a place to stability. So for counseling, it's moving from instability to stability. Coaching is moving from stability to even, to making your goals and crushing them. So can someone go through counseling and coaching at the same time? Yeah. I would, when I send out a information form to someone who's interested in coaching, I do ask if they have received therapy before or if they're currently receiving therapy, because I need to be aware of that. I need to know what they're working on, what they might be struggling with, so that I can be aware of the questions I ask, and also that the coaching sessions aren't turning into another therapy session. So if someone's really struggling and they're in a really deep, dark spot, I would say get through the therapy first and then talk with coaching. But if you're in a pretty good spot with therapy and you're ready to start making some good goals to move forward, then yeah, coaching is great. It can really help. Discipleship is it's more of a deep teaching relationship. So just remember coaching as a partnership. I'm not superior to my clients. I could coach somebody on something I've never been through just because I'm going to ask the right questions. Now, does that necessarily mean that I'd be the best coach at that? No, but I can help ask some good questions. And if you think about like discipleship, like who's the best example of a disciple? Jesus. He also was a coach, but when you look at his model as a discipler, he was a leader. His disciples followed him, but so as a coach, that doesn't mean it couldn't turn into a discipleship relationship, but that's not the intention. And then coaching, like I said, is not a mentorship. If you look at a mentorship, it's usually somewhat like more in a leader, authoritative type figure helping someone come up. So Back in the day when I worked at the plasma center as a supervisor even, or a manager, I was always mentoring someone underneath me that could potentially do my job if I left or was promoted. So just remember, a coach is someone who partners. There's no leading or being in charge. So yeah, but if you have any other questions about life coaching, if that was confusing, feel free to post a comment, go to my pages, send me an email. I'll post all of my social media in the comments once this is gone, and you can find it on all my pages. I probably overpost all that stuff, but I really just don't want to ever have anyone say to me, I didn't know how to get a hold of you. Because that would be false. It's everywhere. So how did I become a life coach? So I am going to be actually posting on my blog this afternoon a little bit about me and my background, and it's kind of going to be like a 4-part series. So the first one I'm going to be posting is just about me and my background. But long story short, I grew up in a really small town in central Wisconsin. It consisted basically of farms, bars, Catholic and Lutheran churches. I think we got a Pizza Hut when I was in high school, and that was pretty awesome. And we got a stoplight my senior year of high school, so 2002. I think there's like 2 other stoplights now. It's crazy. Oh, and we have a talking cow. Go Google Chatty Bell, Neilsville, Wisconsin. It'll change your life. But my whole life, my story as a child and teenager is pretty rough. Early 20s, pretty rough. I spent a lot of time transferring schools, always kind of trying to figure out who I was supposed to be. I felt like everyone else is going to school, so I need to go to school. No. So at one point, I just decided I'm just going to work full time. And so I had gotten a job in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin at a plasma center, and I just worked my way up. And in 2011, I moved to Greensboro, North Carolina for a promotion. And honestly, at that point, I was just trying to escape my life. And so I've always worked in the medical type background. And I mean, I enjoy helping people, but I always felt this desire to do more. And so I met my husband and quit the job at the clinic, but I still stayed in the medical field. I even went back to school, and I got a diploma in medical assisting, which I loved my instructors. I still keep in touch with them. I loved the program. I loved being a medical assistant, honestly. I mean, I really did, but I always had this gnawing feeling of like wanting to do more, to have more, not more as in like more responsibility or more money, but as in I want to impact people's lives more. And I've always been this like natural encourager, problem solver. I mean, I remember even in high school, my friends would ask me, how to fix a problem, how to get a solution, or, I'm always trying to like cheer my friends on and encourage them. And so, for a while I was like, well, maybe I should be a counselor, but I really just doubted myself and my abilities. And so I just stayed doing what I was doing. After that program, I got a full-time job at a surgical clinic, and I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. I had fun, but I didn't like being in an environment where there really wasn't a lot of flexibility for me to be a wife and a mom. I mean, at that point, I hadn't had Addie yet, and so I was starting to just kind of see where my priorities were shifting. I remember it would just be so hard to take off to go to a sporting event, because if my doctor was in clinic, I had to be there or find someone who would cover me. And after my best friend left the department I worked with, like, I didn't really have a lot of people that could help. And usually the people that could help me, they were already working in their own clinic. So it was just like really hard to have good life work balance. So I got pregnant in 2017, and in August of that year, I took a different job within my department. Well, let me reverse too. When we first moved to Aberdeen, we also found our home church. They were recommended by someone, and we went there, and we have not left. And we have been there for 3 years now, and that's the church I work at. And it is amazing. We love it. It is our family, and it's a really good church. Grace Church in Southern Pines. You should check it out. But so I was looking at trying to get involved also with like volunteering, and it was just hard with my work schedule. I really didn't want to volunteer on Sunday because the weekends was my time with my family, and I was being a little selfish at that time, if we're going to be honest. So fast forward, August 2017, I took a job with our weight loss surgery department within the department I was working at, and I thought that this was going to like take a huge burden off my shoulders. Wrong. I really loved getting to work with my patients. I loved my surgeons, and but there was just a lot of stuff, like as I was growing closer with God, that he was just preparing me to like really fully walk in what he had created me to do. And so I had my daughter, and everybody just assumed I was going to quit and not come back, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I learned that a lot of people were talking about me behind my back, and I don't like that stuff. And there were rumors going around about what I was going to do, and literally nobody had talked to me. And so I really just spent a lot of time in prayer. What was I going to do? And then in October, so I was like probably there for, let's see, so I had Addie in October. I took the full 12 weeks off. I had a C-section. I was dealing with postpartum depression, anxiety, a lot of anger. Like I could have probably used 6 months off, but I could only take 12 weeks. So I went back to work in January of 2018, and I worked really hard. And in October of 2018, I got a phone call from Grace Church. I had not applied for anything. I had not even put my name in to volunteer anywhere. And I got a phone call from Cassie, who is now one of my really good friends. Our daughters go to school together. We literally work right next to each other. And she was working with someone as an admin assistant, and they were just looking for someone to come in part-time and to help with some of those administrative duties. So I talked to my husband about it, because taking that position would mean I would either have to quit my full-time job or see if they would let me go part-time. And initially my husband was not okay with it, because financially he was like, I don't know if we can do that. But I really was like, if God is providing this, like he is going to make sure we're good. So I took the position, and I went part-time at the clinic. And in December, my husband said, quit the job. You want to go back to school, figure out what you want to go back to school for. And through all this time, I had been looking into life coaching, and I was like, wow, this is actually a real job. I could maybe do this. And at the time I was going to Liberty University, was looking into going to Liberty University, and they have a life coaching program. It's nothing like what you actually need to be a life coach. So I would definitely, if you're interested in life coaching, do your homework and figure out what program you actually need to be in. So I quit that job, and I remember when I quit, somebody I worked with, one of the doctors, asked me what I was looking for, why I was leaving. And this was shortly before he had told me I was, one of their better employees. And so I said, I need a job that's going to give me work-life balance, that's going to allow me to be a good wife, a good mom, where I can really have an impact and help people and bring in some income. And he told me what I was looking for did not exist. And so it does exist because I'm living it. I didn't have to look for it. God brought me to it. So if God is calling you to something, don't listen to a person. You listen to God. Anyway, so I had been looking into life coaching programs. I had come across the Christian Coach Institute, and they were already waitlisted, of course, because they're amazing. And so I was looking at starting in August 2019. Like, I had already started the communication process. But I discovered in February of 2019, so in January, I was like doing my searching. February, I found out that I was pregnant. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to throw a wrench into all these plans. Not in a bad way, but like everything's just going to have to get pushed off. And so I just made different plans. I was just going to go to school. But unfortunately, in April, I did lose the baby. And so that was a really difficult process because anyone that's gone through that or the loss of a child, like, it's a really confusing time. But I couldn't think about school. I couldn't think about coaching. But I got so close with God during that time. And through that pain, he had connected me with a lot of really great people that I would not probably have connected with otherwise. And then also, I really felt led to get back in touch with the coaching program and see what opportunities were available. And I was able to get into the coaching program in August, so this August of 2019. And so as difficult as an experience as that was, yes, I would have loved to have had another baby, but looking back and looking where I'm at right now, it just would have made things a little more difficult, and I definitely wouldn't have gotten as close to God as I have without that situation. So the program I started was in August of 2019, 16-week program. It included weekly live webinars. So we had a class every week, a 3-hour class. It was a huge time commitment, totally worth it though. And I graduated in December. So I'm officially a graduate of the program. So I can refer to myself as a professional life coach. But now I'm just working on my certification process or package, which includes some practicum or clients. And my goal is to have that done by summer of this year. I was really trying to push myself to get it done fast, but whew, that's not happening. I need to give myself a little grace and be okay with not just pushing through it. So right now, after graduation, I'm just working on a few things. Let me get some more coffee. I'm really working on growing my social media. I'm not the best at it. I just try to be consistent. I try to post regularly. I try to post content that everybody likes. I'm working on networking and marketing to help kind of like grow my client base. So initially it's great because like all my friends and family, they like my page, but now like I need to start connecting with people who want coaching. And so that's just kind of where I'm at with that. So I've been asked, what is my focus as a life coach? So disclaimer, I do not work with men one-on-one. That's just not what I do. I've got a lot of respect for my marriage, and that's just not a relationship I would even consider. Now, in the future, I will do some marriage and like premarital coaching. So that's different because I would work with a woman and a man, but no one-on-one with men. If you are a male, though, looking for coaching, I do know some guys who could definitely help you out. But really, I really just want to work with women who are just looking to be okay with who they are, grow with God, and not just feel like they're just stuck. Moms, like, we experience a lot of burnout. We do a lot of that ourselves, unfortunately. I hear a lot of women complaining about wanting like deep connecting relationships. So I like the idea of being able to help cultivate those. Also, a lot of women I talk to just feel like they don't feel fulfilled. They have no clue what God wants for them, or something that a lot of people struggle with is they feel like they should be doing something like huge, big, and glamorous, but that might not be, what your purpose is. Not saying like doing God's work isn't glamorous, but some people are like Hillsong, beautiful singers, traveling the world. That's not me. I think right now in this season of my life, God wants me to be a good wife. He wants me to be a good mom. He wants me to be an example of who he is. And by doing those things, I can help other women. I didn't start being a life coach to like be a millionaire. Like, honestly, just I love the opportunity to get to work with people. Let's see, what else do I have here? So all those things I want to help women with, I have been through or I'm currently going through. And I think when you have someone to help walk you through a process, it really helps. I also really love planning and problem solving. So, if someone is complaining about burnout, I want to look at your calendar. I want to look at what you're saying yes to. I want to help you be able to say no, create boundaries, make priorities. And I've learned to say no. And it kind of was hard at first because I'm a yes person and I have FOMO, the fear of missing out. I'm old, but I will still use that lingo. And so really just helping people be okay with saying no. Also, something I got asked yesterday was, so how much are you going to charge? That's all stuff that I would go through with someone individually, just because I do have certain packages and discounts that could be used. And also I know that everyone's like financial situation can be a little different. So I just, I don't want somebody to miss out on an opportunity because they can't really afford it. That doesn't mean I'm giving away free coaching, but what that means is like, let's have a discussion and see what we can do. But they will be session or packages with sessions. You could have as little as 4 sessions. You could have 24 sessions. We would discuss that and the price before we would sign any contracts. Also, since I am still in the process of getting my certification package completed, I am going to be offering coaching at like a very discounted rate. So if you want to get in on some coaching, we can have a conversation and I can kind of tell you about what those details are going to be. Also, if you're like, I don't know if life coaching is for me, but I have a 18-year-old daughter who could use some help getting her life right, the gift of coaching is beautiful. Let's talk. I'm also thinking about group coaching and just kind of how that would work. I love building environments where like women can come together and encourage and support and kind of look at a topic that they're all struggling with and kind of work through it together. I've started a group on my personal page that's like a health and wellness group. And we're just all like cheering each other on. It's awesome. And so I'm hoping in the next couple months to develop some things like that. That would be free or a minimal cost through the coaching. And so, like I said, if you're curious about exploring coaching, like let's set up a time to just talk. Something I had gotten asked was, well, what if I don't live in the same state as you? That's cool. Look what we're doing right now. Technology is amazing. We can FaceTime, we can Facebook Messenger, we can Zoom, we can talk. If you're local, we can meet for coffee. I will never say no to coffee. Even if you're local and you have a crazy schedule, we can set up a call. So don't let your distance from me get in the way of discussing coaching. Let's see here. The first thing we would do is what we call a discovery call. And so it's complimentary, there's no charge, and we really just discuss what your goals are, who I am as a coach, who you are, and we really just kind of see, like, are we compatible? And if you're actually coachable, if you feel like you're coachable right now. And so we would just have that discussion. Okay, we are almost done. I'm loving that, just being able to talk. Anyone that knows me knows I do love to talk. So this whole coaching thing has been a change for me because I've really had to work on listening, being a really active listener, and I really love it. So one of my questions, how do you balance work, family, school, coaching, and all of this social media stuff? Well, some weeks it's super easy and some weeks it's a struggle. But honestly, good scheduling. So I love Google Calendar. So I have a calendar that my husband and I share, so we both have access to it. And so I put everything on there. I put devotion time, workout time, work time, homework time, coach time. If I have a coaching client, I don't put like the name of the client in there. I just put coaching, so he knows, like, oh, this is what she has going on. And then I can see what he has going on. And we tell our kids all the time, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. So good scheduling and committing to a schedule. So not just putting it on the schedule, but actually doing it. Setting boundaries, saying no, good support. What are your priorities in life? If I haven't had time with my husband alone for the week, and Friday is my only free day, and a friend asked me to go to lunch, and that I'm probably going to say no. It's all about priorities, and the people that are really close to me, they know this and they respect it. And so also with the social media is Facebook, you can schedule your posts. So I've been doing a lot of that, and I am also looking into apps to help schedule my other social media. I pre-make a lot of content, so like copying and pasting is not too time consuming. But it's really just about like what matters. If it matters, like, you'll make it happen. I am a late night person, so my 2-year-old goes to bed at 7. And so I have quite a bit of time at night to do homework, to do some coaching stuff, to be on my social media, spend time with my husband. So it works out really good. And my husband is super supportive of all of this. And I don't think it would be easy to balance it all if he was not. And all my friends are super supportive too. So having friends and family that cheer you on just make a world of a difference. And I know God's called me to do this, so he's going to help me make it happen. Somebody asked me, why the name Purposefully Blessed Coaching? So I have been, since I started coaching or, training, I have struggled with coming up with a name. Like, nothing would click, nothing felt right. And so I really just have been praying about it. And one day God literally just downloaded some words in my brain. And so I prayed about it, and I spoke with my husband, and we looked up some definitions of these words, and we worked together, and this is what we came up with. So I love that it really stands for who I am and what I believe for coaching, but it's also a collaboration from my husband. But if you look at the word purposefully, the definition, I'm just going to read it verbatim. So purposefully is in a way that shows determination with a useful purpose and intentionally and deliberately. So as a woman, when I think about how I want to live my life, I want to do it in a way that shows determination, intentionally, deliberately, and with purpose. And I want other women to feel equipped to do the same. And so purposefully blessed is, living a life intentionally, chasing after the blessings that God has promised us. And I am telling you now that, like, you need to stand boldly in that. And, God wants us to chase after him. He wants us to chase after what he has for us. And so that's where the name Purposefully Blessed Coaching comes from, is that we're living a life with an intention. Also, my word for 2020 is intentional. If you have a word for 2020, put it in the comments. I would love to hear what your word is. But I love that intention is also part of the definition for purposefully. And, intentional is, just doing things on purpose, deliberately. Hey, Jen. Waiting for basketball. Oh, basketball. I remember when those babies were just babies the last time I saw them. So I'm glad you're here. So yeah, as women, we should be living lives intentionally, deliberately, purposefully, and being okay with who God's made us to be. There are things about me that drive me crazy. There are things about me that drive my husband crazy, my friends crazy. But you know what? Those things also make me a really good coach, and they make me a really good planner. Type A personality can get things done. Sometimes we have a little OCD, but it's okay. Let's see here. So yeah, so that's where that name came from. Let's see. Someone put, what's your favorite coffee? Honestly, I love a white chocolate mocha. I love it. But I do really just love going to the local coffee shops in my area. I consider myself a coffee concierge. Is that the right word? Concierge. But for a while, I was using coffee shops as like my little mobile office. And as you can see right now, I'm in my bedroom. And hopefully this spring we'll be buying a house and I'll have my own little space. But I just love a good coffee, and I'm good with trying whatever. And locally, I love going to High Octane. I love going to Buggy Town, Java Bean Plantation, of course, Starbucks. So yeah, I'm trying though to make more coffee at home because that's part of my goals. And then someone had also asked, the last question I had was, what are some of my goals for 2020? So I love New Year's because everybody is all about change. But sometimes I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And if we have one day where we slip up, we kind of feel like we're done. We can't do anything else about it. So I am allowing myself to not have that pressure be on me. And so I'm working towards wellness. And when I say wellness, I'm talking about mental, physical, spiritual wellness. And, when I talk about physical wellness is taking care of the body that God's given me. I would love to lose weight, but I'm not going to focus on losing a certain number. I just want to take care of myself, and that would be a result of it. I am being more intentional this year with relationships, my relationship with God, my relationship with my husband, my children, my family. Also standing up for myself more. If I can't commit to things, not doing it, and being okay with saying no. And I am working on my goals for my coaching business. So, I've got a few things that I'm working on here. And so we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of leaving it all up to God. But, going from here, I'm really just looking for continued support and encouragement from my friends and my family. I've got friends sharing my page, and it means the world to me that people would trust me enough to do that. My first big goal initially with my coaching is connecting to people I don't know. Yesterday I went out and bought a coffee, and I have business cards, and I left my first set of business cards at a coffee shop. And so just doing things like that and trying to figure out how I can connect with people. If, like I've said, if you're watching this and you're like, wow, I really would love to talk about some coaching, let's make a conversation happen. Also, I would love if people could, share my social media, or just do something to kind of maybe invite someone. If you're liking the post, invite someone or tag someone. Just things like that are really great. I will also make sure to comment all of my social media. So I've got Facebook and Instagram. My husband told me to start a Twitter, so I did that. I guess everybody uses that. I'm not used to all this stuff. I do have a YouTube where I'm just uploading like the videos that I post on here. So this one will be on YouTube, because I guess YouTube's like where it's at. I mean, I like YouTube, but we'll see what happens. And then I also have a blog, which I love, and I will be posting another blog today. It's just purposefullyblessedcoaching.wordpress.com. Super easy. So that is all I have. And I only scheduled this for an hour, but I hope that, by watching this, that you guys were able to learn a little bit about coaching. You're able to learn more about me. I know some people do really, really formal things. I am not a formal person. I mean, I'm sitting here in my bedroom drinking coffee, just talking. So super casual, super laid back. That's just how I like to do things. But yeah, hopefully, you guys learned something, and maybe your gears are turning a little bit about coaching. And I just pray that you guys all have a beautiful weekend. I don't know about other places, but school starts again on Monday for us. My big kids are with their mom right now, so it's been really weird not having all the kids here since Christmas. Addie is constantly like asking for Bubba or Sissy. Bubba is her brother's. So it'll be great to have them back tomorrow and get back on a routine. Addie starts preschool. I start school in 2 weeks. So, the holidays are great, but I love getting back on a routine. So, yeah. So stay tuned. I'm hoping to do more things like this in the future, maybe more topic focused. If there's anything that you guys would like for me to address, like from a coaching perspective, or even like, what would I do? I've got 18 commitments this week. How should I do this? I could do some topic discussions. Just send me a message, post, whatever you want to do. Okay, well, I'm going to end this live video. It will be available for replay so that you can watch it later or share it, and you can still leave comments and I'll get to them. So thank you for those who popped in. Thank you for those who did ask questions. I just really, really appreciate all of the love and support. Have a good one.